Now, what do we do on that night? First, what do you not do? Just like fasting starts off with what you're not supposed to do, so that you don't lose out on the reward, the same thing is true with Laylatul Qadr. As Imam al-Qudama rahimahullah said, what's to be avoided is mixing with the people, arguing, shopping, wasting time, all of these different things. So be mindful, dear brothers and sisters, of your iftars even. Your time at the masjid, the conversations that are happening in the masjid parking lots. That's not the time to do anything except for worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So keep your conversations to a minimum that night. If you can afford to not do any iftar parties, that's a time that you probably don't accept iftar invitations or waste your time with iftars, because the night starts at Maghrib. So a person could lose Laylatul Qadr over their iftar conversation, right? Just sitting together in the first few minutes, a comment slips, a backbiting, and you are deprived on that night. So first and foremost, don't sin on that night so that you don't disqualify yourself that night. Secondly, keep in mind that the Prophet ﷺ was described as Ahya al-Layl. He gave life to the night. And so give life to the night with ibadah. And that means ibadah in the most general sense of the word. Rotate between Quran and dua and qiyam and dhikr, whatever it may be, and sadaqah. Keep yourself busy that night by giving life to the night bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Some of the scholars mention, subhanAllah, if you look at Surah Al-Alaq, which is right before Surah Al-Qadr, and of course it is Laylatul Qadr, it begins with the command of Iqra, read, and it ends with sujood, right? To make sajda waqtarib, and to come close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so Laylatul Qadr is the best time to read, and it's the best time to prostrate. So keep yourself between reading the Quran and in sajda, in prostrating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and making dua to Allah azza wa jal. What constitutes catching Laylatul Qadr in that regard? So again, first and foremost, don't do anything that would disqualify you from it. It's important to mention, again, it starts at Maghrib. And Anas radiallahu anhu mentioned that the verse تَتَجَافَى جُنُوبُهُمْ عَنِ الْمَضَاجِعِ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ خَوْفًا وَطَمَعًا. The verse in Surah Al-Sajda about standing up and praying at night referred to initially, or the way that the companions primarily interacted with that first was the time between Maghrib and Isha. So the night starts from Maghrib to Isha. You can pray sunan between Maghrib and Isha. That's qiyam as well. So the start time is at Maghrib bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And then make sure that you catch Isha in congregation, as is narrated from Sa'id ibn Musayyib that man shahida al-Isha min Laylatul Qadr faqad akhadha bihadlihi minha, that whoever attends Salatul Isha on the night of Laylatul Qadr, then he has taken his share of Laylatul Qadr. And think about it. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned that if you pray Isha in Jama'ah, it's like praying half the night. And if you pray Fajr in Jama'ah, it's like praying half the night, right? The second half of the night. So catch Isha and Fajr in Jama'ah, and inshallah ta'ala, you will get the whole night. So make sure that you catch Isha and Fajr in Jama'ah for each one of the last 10 nights. Also, pray with the Imam until he finishes. So when you pray your Taraweeh, if you're accustomed to leaving at some point earlier in Taraweeh, if you can stay the whole night, then do so. Because the Prophet ﷺ said that whoever prays Qiyam with the Imam until he finishes, it will be recorded for him that he spent the entire night in prayer. Imam al-Shafi'i rahimahullah said that as for the Salihin, as for the righteous ones, some of them spent more time praying, some spent more time in Quran, some spent more time in dua, and all of it counts. And that's important because, especially for sisters, for example, who can't pray. Just because you can't pray doesn't mean you're not catching Laylatul Qadr. You can spend the night in reading and making dua and doing dhikr, and bidnillahi ta'ala, you're still attaining the full reward of Laylatul Qadr. On top of that, if your niyyah was there to catch Laylatul Qadr, had you been able to pray with the salah, then you'll get the reward of your prayer anyway. So it goes back to the importance of your niyyah, your intention. Remember, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, "Man qama Laylatul Qadr imanan wa ihtisaban." Whoever stands up praying with faith and seeking the reward. So ihtasib, seek the reward bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and you will find it, inshaAllah. It's also a night of accepted du'as, and so keep yourself busy. And the last part of the night is best, just like any other night. The last part of the night is best. So keep yourself busy. And what type of du'a should you make? Of course, أحب الدعاء إلى الله أجمعها. The best du'a to Allah are the comprehensive ones. So ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. These short du'as that are so comprehensive in their meaning, and your heartfelt du'as as well. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ told Aisha radiallahu anha very simply, Allahumma innaka afuwan tuhibbul afwa fa'afu anni. Allahumma innaka afuwan tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. It is also narrated, Allahumma innaka afuun kareemun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. This is something that all of us can memorize and just say as we're taking walks on that night, doing whatever we have to do. Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Oh Allah, you are the forgiver, you love to forgive, so forgive me. So just keep saying this bi'idhnillahi ta'ala and keep yourself busy. There's also the command or the benefit of giving sadaqah. Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah said that, our scholars said that being generous on that night is recommended in Ramadan, and especially during the last 10 nights, or being generous is recommended during Ramadan and especially during the last 10 nights. And by doing so, of course, we're emulating the example of the Prophet ﷺ as well as the Salaf, as all good deeds are honored. And there's something to connect here, by the way, that dua changes qadr, as the Prophet ﷺ authentically said, and that is the night of qadr, that dua can change your qadr. Also, sadaqah, good deeds, can extend your lifespan. And so there is a relationship between doing the deeds that affect qadr and Laylatul Qadr. So keep yourself busy bi'idhnillahi ta'ala with that. And of course, subhanAllah, people are going to have different circumstances. Again, some sisters are going to feel like they missed out. You haven't missed out. The only thing you can't do is pray. Everything else bi'idhnillahi ta'ala is available to you with its restrictions and limitations. If you have work life, then if you have to work, then do dhikr bi'idhnillahi ta'ala throughout the night. If you have to sleep some of the night, inni la ahtasibu nawmati kama ahtasibu qawmati. Think like Mu'adh radiyallahu anhu. I seek the reward for my sleep the same way I seek the reward for my being awake. Be intentional about when you take that nap bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and how you think about planning that entire night bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So again, it is a night that is full of blessing, dear brothers and sisters. Don't waste it, and don't think that you will miss out on it bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, so long as you keep yourself busy in some way with that which is good. I want to mention one more hadith bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and that is because obviously we're seeing what's happening with our brothers and sisters in Gaza. SubhanAllah, it hit me, over the last 2 years when I was told that some of our brothers and sisters in Gaza watch some of the stuff we do at Yaqeen. And this hadith is an authentic hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said, أَلَا أُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِلَيْلَةٍ أَفْضَلَ مِنْ لَيْلَةِ الْقَدْرِ. Shall I not tell you about a night that is greater than Laylatul Qadr? And he said, حَارِسٌ حَرَسَ فِي أَرْضِ خَوْفٍ لَعَلَّهُ أَنْ لَا يَرْجِعَ إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهِ. That a person who spends the night guarding his people in a land of fear, so much so that it is as if he will not return to his family. The people that are in Ribat, the people that are holding their ground, and they are the people of Gaza right now more than anything else. So let's not forget that Allah has not left anyone from this ummah out. Let's not leave anyone from this ummah out of our du'as. Keep the entire ummah of Muhammad ﷺ in your dua, especially your brothers and sisters in Gaza, and your brothers and sisters in Sudan, and your brothers and sisters that are struggling around the world.